The other fellow umpires will be here shortly, but I am here at the moment. And today, I want to say good afternoon to all those listening. Those are listening from Trinidad and Tobago, those in New York, my good friend Karma, who is locked on and listening all the time. My friend Elvin from Boston, those in Chicago, those in Africa, all those that are usually locked on and listening to us, I want to say good evening. And today we would continue on the same program that we usually engage our listeners with. Someone was asking me recently what really is the third umpires, and I want to say that the third umpire really is a show where we dissect, sometimes analyze all the issues, that relevant issues that are taking place during the course of the week all day. We look at it from our perspective. Usually we use the metaphoric example of the cricket to put the different, the government, as a matter of fact, in office. So in this case, we have the government, who would we consider the batting, who is in the wicket right now, and the fielding team would be the opposition. So hence the reason we call it the third umpires. We sit and we analyze things that they may say or do, or decisions they may make from time to time, and we engage you, the public, as the pavilion, who would from time to time tell us or give us your analysis or your position on the umpire's decision. That is really what the show is about and how it is characterized, and hence we have the third umpires. Today I would want to engage the listening audience more early, because I am here alone for probably the next hour, I would say. And we had originally planned to have some other discussions on some other issues, some other major issues, because as you know, as the promo would have indicated, we are employment law and human resource management professionals, and most of our discussion, because we deal with people, most of our discussions would usually surround issues relating to that, along with the politics and the geopolitics also. But that would sometimes take the course of the three of us having those kind of discussion. So today I would invite you, the public. The phone lines are 342-0081, 466-5391, and I think the 771-1791 may not be working, but the two phone lines are 342-0081, 466-5391. Those are the two lines that I usually open. And so in probably the next 10 minutes or so, we would want to engage you on the show on issues relative to the going on, the issues that are taking place in Trinidad and Tobago that really affect you, or maybe in the news or in making headlines, I should say. I want to also remind persons about the Lydia Yasu Umawale Emancipation Village, which opened on Friday, July 25th at 6 p.m. at the Queen's Park, Savannah. And the theme really for this year is 2025, Shaping Sustainable Futures through repatriatory justice. Repatriatory justice. That is at this time open at the Savannah, and we invite all. This is emancipation. This is emancipation period. Let us meet up at the village and see what the Emancipation Committee in commemorating emancipation has to offer to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, emancipation or the commemoration of emancipation is something that all of Trinidad and Tobago should pay particular attention to. We in Trinidad and Tobago, we came here, and some of us would say, or we came here, we didn't come here willingly in most cases, except for the indentured laborers, the East Indian indentured laborers. We came here via slavery. We came here as slaves, our foreparents, and the commemoration of emancipation should be something that should interest us in some way. And there are a lot of activities in this festival or this emancipation village that we should probably go down and check out at the Queen's Park Savannah and be part of also, understanding our past, or understanding our cultural antecedents and how it still may affect us in some way from time to time. That being said, there are a number of things that are in the news. This morning I was reading a very strange article. In Trinidad is really everyday things happen here that sometimes have you asking yourself if we are in a real place. Right? I mean, we hear about mass shootings, we hear about all kinds of things in America, but Trinidad and Tobago is really a strange place. This one, I was reading an article a little while ago, as a matter of fact, about a gentleman who was arrested for robbery somewhere in St. Joseph. He was arrested somewhere around 11:30 last night, and 4 o'clock this morning, he was found dead in his cell, apparently strangled with a jersey. Now, when I read the article, I was asking myself, I mean, the St. Joseph police station has now become a crime scene. And I was just asking myself, how could that have happened? I mean, the question is, who will guard the guards? Because if a man is strangled in a police station, in a cell in a police station, that is serious cause for concern. But that is something maybe we could discuss at some time, because this is not something new. These are things we hear all the time with people being killed, different kind of murders, and sometimes it have you wondering, I mean, how did we reach to this place? I know we just reached there, but why are these things happening even among the community that are placed to protect us? That is all I have to say about this. And maybe we could discuss it also. You know, there are other issues that sometimes come up. I was looking at a lot of the discussion around the stand your ground laws and around the issue of granting people firearm and the research around it, and all those, you know, when you listen to the opposition against it, meaning those who are opposed it. Now, I am neither opposed in opposition of it or in support of it. What I would say, in some way, it is necessary, given what we see happening today in society. It is better sometimes to, just 1 second, yeah, it is better sometimes to have some kind of protection than to have none, right? If the research, from what I've been reading by those who are opposing the stand your ground legislation and opposing the use of firearms to persons, ordinary persons, if someone is coming to rob you and you have an opportunity, you know you are going to be, and you have you have the jump on them, and you have a firearm, and you light that person up, you give them some corn. I really can't see why you stand in your ground. So for the persons who say that there are no, the research shows that that doesn't reduce robbery and that doesn't reduce, well, what research? You do research in another country. You didn't do research in Trinidad because we didn't have that before in Trinidad. So what I'm saying is the dynamics in Trinidad and Tobago is different. A lot of innocent people, for whatever reason, because of opportunity, are being robbed, they are being burglarized, things are being done to them for which, if they had the necessary protection, I am sure they would have been able to protect themselves or guard themselves against that. In any case, if I am into nefarious activities, I'm going to rob somebody, I'm going to do something, and I am not sure if that person that I am going to attack, my victim, has protection in the form of a firearm, I am sure I will think twice about going there. And to me, that in itself is a deterrent. But there are others who will say that if you have a firearm, you become a target, and that too is a valid argument. If you have a firearm and you might be volatile in some way, and you could become a target, and that is something that that one would want to consider also. But the argument must not be, I mean, we have to try something. You see the kind of murders, the kind of heinous crimes that are being committed today against citizens. Sometimes people who might have been able to help themselves or protect themselves otherwise if they were given, like business people, for instance. You have a business, I know of someone who had a business in somewhere down Caroni, and that lady was robbed about 5 times. And it was like deliberate. As soon as they know the lady had money, they were going to rob her. Until she eventually closed her business. And that shouldn't be. Now, if that lady had a firearm and was able to protect herself, you think they would have gone and tried to rob her that in her little business that often? I don't think that would happen. Because I'm sure she would have one day say, look, listen, I fell up at this, and she'd have light one of them up. And that would be an example. And I'm saying that, you know, it cannot be, if fire, and the law is already on the books, it has always been on the books. So if it is that the law is already on the books, that as a citizen, you can apply for a firearm. But what happened before, it was made very difficult through corruption and other means to acquire one. You had to pay police 20,000, you had to pay this one and next 40,000, and just to move it through the system. And now our government is coming and saying, well, to add another layer to crime, to seek national security and crime and protection, we will now make it easier for people who deserve to have a firearm to get one. What is wrong with that, in my opinion? I don't know. Maybe you could call in and say what you could call in and give your argument, what you feel might be wrong about that. But I think that is a good, that's an extra, an additional layer of protection and security for people. If a man could stand his ground when he is being threatened, when his personal security is being threatened, when his personal space is being threatened, when you come in my house to rob me, and I have a firearm, and I could send you in our next life. Why should I not do that? You came here to be sent to our next life. Just by you coming in my house to take advantage of me in that kind of way, you asking to be sent in the next place. So if the government is now making it possible for me to protect myself in that way, I do understand the argument. So that is my position. The other thing is in my opinion, the correct use of the national security apparatus. You have so much, and my other fellow umpire, he talk about it all the time. You have so much different, so many different elements of the security apparatus that could be used that are not used in the way we think it should be used to solve crime and to assist in national security. Like, for instance, municipal police. They finish work, they might finish work 4 o'clock when they should be working just like ordinary police. They have the same authority to arrest, they have the same authority to investigate, they have the same authority as every other police officer that is in the TTPS. The only thing is that they are called municipal police. Some people call them market police, all kind of thing. But they're police, they're wearing the same uniform, they're driving the same vehicles, they have the same firearm. Why aren't they used as another layer of security, of policing, while the other element of the TTPS, the regular police, who might be in some cases, as some would say, more trained or more equipped to do a different kind of policing, why aren't they used in that way? So for instance, if the police or the police in Tunapuna under the Tunapuna Regional Corporation say if they would work just like the normal police on the streets, do minor investigation, they are in charge of their area, Tunapuna, and the regular police will now not be bogged down by giving tickets and all that kind of thing, because they can do that, and the tickets could be used to raise taxes in that particular community also. So they would now be taking care of a different kind or a different area, or adding to the layer of security in a certain kind of way, and working around the clock just like all the other police, 24 on, 24 off. However, that to me, right, same thing with customs, right? Customs have the power to arrest, customs have the power to do the same thing, or sometimes even more, border security and that kind of thing that police do. So why aren't we utilizing all of these areas, elements of the national security apparatus, in which it could be utilized to prevent crime, one, and to assist in the national security of the country? I'm thinking also if customs in particular, right? And some people would say customs might be responsible. I don't want to say that, but they hear that all the time. Customs might be responsible for some of the things that are happening, the ills that the allowing certain criminal elements to flourish in ways that they take bribe to bring things in the country and things. I don't know about that, but I'm saying that people say that all the time. But in any case, if we retrain these people to facilitate areas that they are more akin to or trained to understand over a period 24 hours kind of thing, you would have less work for the normal police, or more normal police will have more time to do what they should be doing. I think this whole problem of national security, if we configure the human resource differently, we could have better results in terms of crime fighting and in terms of the prevention of crime and serious crime. Right? The police don't necessarily have to be in your house all the time. The police don't necessarily have to be everywhere. Like in most big countries, you have you marry the cameras, all the other surveillance equipments that is available to national security with the human resource. I think we could have. This is a small country. This is not necessarily a very large country to to manage, and as such, it is not too hard to understand that we should be probably utilizing the other security, even the special reserve police officers, right? Security companies. Well, I know the UNC is now going to use the community comfort patrols, which would be manned by security companies, as another layer of crime fighting, and that's a commendable decision. That's a commendable thing. I don't know why it's taking so long. They've been in office for 2 months now. Maybe they're still putting together how they will do it. But that is another layer of security that is, to me, is important and could be used to assist in fighting crime. I don't know what say you. Maybe you can tell us what, or call in and say what your part is. What is your position on this issue of crime? The number is 342-0081 and 466-5391. What we have in Trinidad and Tobago, to a large extent, is the improper utilization of our human resource. And clearly, those in office, both the PNM and the UNC, I can't say much about the UNC. The UNC has just come into office, and I know they met a lot, they're trying to deal with a lot, and they are still trying to configure the system to make it work for the people. But we had a government in office for 10 years, and in my opinion, we shouldn't be having the problems we have today after being in office 10 years and billions of dollars, hundreds of billions, about 400 or 500, about 500 or 600 billion dollars spent in that period in budgets, and today we are still where we were. As a matter of fact, we are worse than where we were 10 years ago with crime. Nothing has changed, but we just have more murders, we just have more crime, for whatever reason, right? And maybe you, the listening public in the pavilion, maybe you could tell us what is the cause of that. Because to me, that is something should be on the mind of every citizen in this country. Every citizen, this is something that should be on your mind. Because if it didn't reach home by you as yet, I am almost sure with the pace at which it's going, it will be on your doorstep sometime, or sometime soon. God forbid. That is, and all of that stems from the improper utilization of your human resource. And when we look at things like CPEP, I was saying to someone just today that CPEP, for instance, now the government would have in some way, the government of the day, in some way, try to restructure. I'm certain what they are doing right now is trying to restructure, or tinkering with the program in particular as to how to restructure it so that they would get more from the program by probably spending less money, because all know at this period, this is austerity period, and the government has to take some kind of austerity measures to survive. And let me take this call. I think it's one of our umpires calling. Good evening. Good evening. Ronaldo. I'm not hearing you. Maybe you should call on the next line, because I'm not hearing you at all. Hello? Call on the next line now, Ronaldo. If you didn't get us on this is 342-0081. We have 466-5391. I'm not too sure why I'm not hearing you here. Maybe Master Control could assist with this. Right? But I was saying that CPEP, if you look at CPEP, you have a whole lot of people. CPEP probably might have been one of the more successful programs. Yeah, let me take this call. Yeah, good evening. Hello? 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 All right, let me see if I can get Master Control to address this because I don't know why you're calling on this phone and not getting through. Let me see if. Yeah. Yeah. So I was talking about CPEP, and what I've observed is that CPEP over the years might have been one of the more successful caller. Good evening. Good evening. All right, I think it's probably a problem on our side because I'm not I'm not hearing you, and I'm not hearing you on both phones, so it might be a problem on our side. Yeah. Yeah, look, somebody calling here. Oh, yeah. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you,
All
Mr.
right.
Mattis?
Yeah.
How are you, Mr. Empire?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah,
Ronaldo. Yeah.
yes. Just getting back to your initial point about the stand your ground legislation.
Mm.
Um, I think this government, the batting team has a unique opportunity to do this the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the manner in which these things are not done that give um they foster feelings of skepticism,
Mm.
you know, based on what the public does not know. I think an education campaign is needed and one that speaks to the grassroots. The legal jargon could be quite clumsy at times,
Mm-hmm.
but the man on the street must be aware of their rights, what they should do, what they can't do under the law. You see, anything surrounding firearms has brought great criticism in Trinidad and Tobago because of abuse of process, the selectivity, and all these things. So I understand why people might have a very negative orientation to anything that concerns firearms.
But what
But
is
this
your
government,
what is your as a fellow umpire? What is your position on the to start with? What is your position on the issue of not necessarily the stand your ground legislation, but the issue of making it easier for people to acquire a firearm because those laws were already there, and the only difference is that there was a lot of corruption involved. To get a firearm, you would have to pay 40, 50,000 dollars to get one. Now you can get one just by purchasing one after you get the license. What is your
yes.
position on that?
Well, you see, I don't think it's a standalone mechanism to deal with crime. I think there are instances where it might be needed. So, for instance, I understand some members of the business committee. I understand some members of the protective services. For instance, the prison officers have been clamoring for firearms to arm themselves, and the off-duty police officers. No, we have seen instances where the off-duty police officers have helped. They have helped in fighting crime.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe it could work
So you're saying, so
with stringent
what you're
methods.
saying is that for you, according to your what you just said, you are saying that it might be a better thing to allow for off-duty servicemen to have the firearm than to have the ordinary public have it. Is that what you're saying?
I I see the I see the both regimes could work, but you would understand the advantage that a police officer would have over an ordinary citizen.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what they are saying also is that one of the prerequisites to acquire that also is that you have to get some training. It's just like
But apart from training, Stephen,
it's just like getting a license for a motor vehicle. I mean, you had to show proof that you went on the range, show proof that you pay, you get your certification, you went and you could at least, because holding a firearm and discharging a firearm is a very difficult thing. I mean, it might look easy. It's not a light thing, and I mean, it's not necessarily a light thing. And just pulling the trigger and trying to discharge, it it your hand not going to stay the same way. So you had to also practice in a certain way how to hold the firearm. Then you had to practice the natural use and upkeep of the firearm, the safety of the firearm. Sometimes people who have firearms
Well,
tell the firearm is like a child. You had to mind that like a child, because you could get in trouble with the what some people call an unlawful discharge, or a negligent discharge, or whatever. I mean, it's not like a negligent discharge with a firearm. A firearm can shoot itself. So all of those things are things that persons who seeking to acquire a firearm must know, and will have to obviously go on the range or go to school or whatever and get some kind of training with it. What is your position? Hello? Caller? Yeah? So, yeah, caller?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello, good afternoon.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I personally, I don't agree with no guns. On the whole, I don't like guns. And I find all this thing about guns and getting it and all, so just now we will be like the Wild Wild West. I mean, everybody could, so any and everybody, let us say you get your gun. I'm not meaning any and anybody. If you acquire the gun by the means, right? You pass all the thing, you get all your training, and you do that. You know how many wives and how many without guns, there's so much what do you call that, disruptions in homes naturally, not killing. They beat up the wife. So you could imagine when the people have a gun. You think they be insane? I don't care how much evaluation they go under, and they get through with a gun. But at that point in time, and I definitely do not know how a gun could save me. Honestly, I always say if somebody had to kill me, they'll kill me, or I'll give them what they want.
Yeah,
If somebody coming in my house,
but it
if
might be
somebody coming in my
it
house,
might be a deterrence, ma'am.
hmm?
It might be a deterrence. Just like you're driving down the
Excuse
road,
me, but
you're driving down the road without
no,
a
but how
seatbelt,
it
and
could
then
be
you
a
can pull off
deterrent?
the road. That's a deterrence. You might want to put on a seatbelt.
Right, but how it could be a deterrent? A gun doesn't shoot out itself. I have to shoot it, and I'm not shooting it. I am not shooting it. It wouldn't be a deterrent for me,
Well, for
right?
you, but what I'm saying
Because
is,
let me tell,
a businessman
no, I
who,
am not putting myself in harm's way and say I brave and I don't want it. All I'm telling you, that could not be a deterrent for me personally. I'm not talking about people. People probably would feel
right?
so, because who tell you if you come to kill me, you come in my house, whether I have a gun or not, you could kill me before I shoot my gun or go upstairs to get my gun. I wouldn't be holding a gun, cooking food, and have a gun on me. So even if somebody come or sleeping or watching TV and somebody think I have to run and get a gun, you remember when you have a gun, you're not supposed to have a gun with no children around, no normal and thing. So how you know when somebody coming into your household? And even if somebody do come, so why they can't shoot me before I shoot them?
Okay, so
So having a gun doesn't.
that's
Yeah.
a good perspective. Let me take another call.
Wait, let me.
Yeah, yeah. Hello, Ronaldo.
Yeah, Matheson.
Yeah.
So I was saying before that the hardest hill we will have to climb is the issue of accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are the issues that we've had in society, whether it be with firearms, with less things, with money, with everything. And as you rightly outline, a firearm is a serious thing. So for instance, in jurisdictions where those things are allowed, conceal and carry, or legal firearms, there are serious thresholds to be met, one, and there are serious tracking mechanisms. You can't issue a firearm and not know who you issue it to and who get your cousin in it and fingerprinting. So there are a lot of component parts that come with these things that should be in place for both the user and the general public to feel safe and to feel confident in using it. It is not just give people a gun, and access is not the issue. Access is not the only issue. We have to put the mechanisms in place by whether if Stephen Madison, for instance, is a dealer, how he got his dealership. Does he account for the weapons he distributes? How does he, who he distributes it to? What it means by which somebody qualifies apart from having the license? Do we have a regime of periodic training? Do you have to check in periodically? What about psychometrics?
Well, I think all those things. I think all those things are things that from what I've been hearing and reading, all those things are prerequisites that that one would have to go through. And as the last caller was saying, with all the psychometric testing and all that kind of thing, it still doesn't say that this person wouldn't be a person who would illegally use the firearm or use the firearm in ways that could endanger other people in certain kind of ways.
Therefore,
right?
What are the punishments that goes along with that?
Well, I guess
if you have a legal issue firearm, are you succumb to the normal laws of discharging your weapon or murder or what are the mechanisms to deal with that? Because I agree we can't predict someone's behavior totally when issuing a firearm, but definitely I do not believe that there is enough public trust to say that we could go along and figure these things out. There's a hard hill to climb. There's a high hill to climb when it comes to these issues because of our past experiences with government and things and legislations and good ideas that have not been fleshed out. They end up becoming problems later down the road.
Yeah,
so
I will say this, Ronaldo. We are part of a society or a people, right, in third world countries that sometimes don't even trust ourselves. Hence the reason why we have the kind of questions being asked or the kind of threshold that we give ourselves to go through to do certain, to even implement something like this, because we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust ourselves to the extent that we feel we can't do this. Listen, let me tell you something. America has how many people? 300 and something million people, right? We just a dot. And they have laws. They have the same thing that we making noise about putting together. They have it. You don't hear, you have mass shootings, you have all kind of different kind of shootings, and we're not even saying that you could walk around with, like the man was yesterday walking in Manhattan, walking around with one of those big rifles. That is not what
you
get license for.
Conceal and carry permit, right? He did have a conceal and carry permit.
But he was seen walking around with something like an AK.
Yes, yes, an automatic weapon.
In the city, right? We don't have laws for that here, and I am sure the government, that's not what the government is saying. But what I'm saying is, if you still not hearing the kind of misuse of firearms in the way we are thinking or we are suggesting might happen in Trinidad and Tobago in the US. And I'm saying,
but I'm saying there's reason for that. Remember, you're dealing with a society who's been doing this for a while. That's the first thing why I think that comparison cannot really stand. And it's not that we can't do it. They have been treating with this for a while. You also see full responsibility when these things happen, you know. Yes. Nobody, it's not like here in Lululand when you say, but we don't know, we don't know. You open the program with the bravado of a crime in a police station, and I am sure that in itself is maybe going to be the ninth wonder of Trinidad and Tobago. We have serious accountability issues here. So our thresholds are different, and I'm not saying that we cannot do these things. And I'm not saying that we should not do these things because I think it's a positive step. But let us deal with the elephants in the room. Let us also deal with all the nuts and bolts, because often enough we have quick fixes and then we realize, oh, so nobody ever think about that. Also, nobody will. We have to bring a motion for that. Or we have to. So let us just do due diligence.
I agree
Let's
with you. I
just
am
do due
agreeing with you
diligence.
100%.
Let's put all the mechanisms in place, all the safety procedures. There will still be naysayers, but let us not lapse on the side of accountability. At the end of the day, we want to know when a firearm goes off in a home or whatever, do we have the technology, the legislation, and the remit in finding out who discharged that firearm and all the circumstances surrounding their acquisition of the firearm. And obviously, well, the legislation will take its place if it was lawful or unlawful, etc. Those are the things that any intelligent society must put in place before they just try something. I don't think it's time to experiment, and we should not rush it. But it is not something to stay away from. I agree. I am not the one who has killed the dream before you even start. You know, people say, well, hanging don't work. You ever see hanging? Nothing. People have a problem with every solution. I agree with that. But at the end of the day, I think you must admit why we have reached that stage in Trinidad. Why are we so skeptical? Why is public trust so low? Is it because people just backward and dismal? And no, there are serious things that has happened in society. We talk about the divers already, where there is no accountability for some of the most egregious acts in a country. On TV, we were talking about the coup yesterday, and that is still murky waters.
Yeah.
35 years after.
And you know, I am agreeing with you, and I think, especially where you said that we need to examine this thing, and you know, I'm a critical kind of critical thinking kind of
Correct.
person. We need
Yes,
to
I know.
examine
Yes.
all the elements of this before we put it into place.
Yes.
And I think
Yes,
some
do
of
it.
the legislation are already there.
Yes.
In terms of how we treat with firearms use, in terms of how we treat with detection, in terms of how we treat with investigation, in terms of
Yeah.
things like, well, each firearm have something, every firearm have something like a fingerprint. So every bullet that comes
Yeah.
out of a firearm, it has a unique
Yes.
marking on it. Right?
GPR
So,
tracking,
right? So
gunpowder residue. You
exactly, the
understand?
ballistics and that kind of thing. So
Correct.
really and truly, if we have all those things, and that's one of the things that those are some of the things that we are guilty of in Trinidad and Tobago. We don't have we are guilty of trying to put things run before we creep before we could walk.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
Walk before we
Correct.
could creep, I
Correct.
should say. And therefore we can't build a foundation, a house and a poor superstructure. So I'm agreeing with you in saying that the government now, and of course it has to go through different phases of before it reaches law, it has to go through the Senate and all that kind of thing. But what needs to happen, in my opinion, is all those things that the public seem to have concern with needs to be put in place so that we could address it in a particular kind of way before in legislation before it even goes out. Because yes, I will agree with anybody who say there are a lot of sick people here who may acquire a firearm. You have women who may have the propensity to be they find out a man horning them or whatever, they take the man gun and they kill them. He might be a person who you might want to give a gun to. I'm just saying, there are all kind of emotional and social
that is a
issues.
legitimate concern.
Huh?
That is a legitimate concern for the simple reason that look at our domestic violence rate.
Yes.
And look at some of the domestic situations we've had. But I am not one to go down the line to kill a dream with balling if this happened and if that happened and that happened. That too is very, very, very backward. I do agree with people like that.
Yeah.
However, public skepticism and scrutiny for a lot of things in Trinidad have legitimate basis for it, and we tend to rush it and because of political expediency and say, nah, them just don't like we. No, it's not like don't like we and they don't like this. A gun is a serious thing. Some parents can't control their children, you know. So what are the legislations where you allow your children to have access to your firearm, or you put it in a place? What does the law do? How does the law protect you? How does the law protect the child? How does the law protect a family? All of those are things, and I think we have the opportunity to do the hard work. It will be hard work because sometimes when you have these town hall meetings or meetings, people bring up all kind of scenarios.
And the law can't fix everything. However, I think any serious society will get down into the nuts and bolts. Let's get down into the nuts and bolts. Let's try and flesh it out. Let's accept the criticism. Let's be able to accept it.
And one of the things that is so crucial in all of this is that it's that of choice. So if you have a problem with firearm, you don't have to apply for one.
Yes,
you follow?
it's not
you don't have to apply for one. You don't have to even go near one, right? If you feel that you don't need one to protect yourself at home because it might be more of a danger for you than otherwise, then maybe you should stay away from it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And that is just my position on that. But you know, we
don't have a problem.
Huh?
Go ahead. Sorry.
We're going to pay some bills now, and when we come back, we will continue this discussion and others.
We'll continue this talk.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Come shop at the biggest African market in the Caribbean with its African-inspired art, craft, jewelry, clothing, books, delicious food. We're at the Queen's Park Savannah, transformed into the Lidjasu Omuale Emancipation Village for the 2025 Pan-African Festival TT, commemorating emancipation, July 25th to August 1st. Also, enjoy jazz, pan, calypso, reggae, dance, drumming, bois, art exhibits, and for the children, the African Heritage Camp and workshops. The village opens 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Free admission before 3 p.m. Just $40 after. Kids under 12, free all day. Bring your family, your friends, your vibes, and let's celebrate the 187th anniversary of emancipation, our heritage and future together. The Emancipation Support Committee, shaping sustainable futures through reparatory justice.
When your corporate event needs more than just food, it needs an experience, a Michelin experience. From mouth-watering buffet spreads to beautiful packed takeaway boxes, the Michelin Experience Limited delivers more than just wheels. We deliver flavor. We deliver satisfaction. We deliver excellence straight to your boardroom. Whether it's a conference, board meeting, or a retirement function, go beyond basic. Go bold. Go Michelin Experience Limited. Call us now at 1-868-474-2250 or follow us on social media at Michelin Experience. Great food, exceptional service every time.
If you love summer and you love pizza, then you'll love Pizza Hut's all-you-can-eat summer. Head to the Hut for our big buffet every day. Then simply upload your receipt to our social media pages for a chance to win a PlayStation 5, a 5-island cabana experience for you and 9 friends, and so much more. Check our socials for details. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering.
Looking for a preschool for your child? Well, look no further. At Leaping Learners Preschool, we believe that every child deserves a jumpstart to success in a safe and loving environment. We prepare your little ones for primary school while giving them the care and attention they deserve, whether they're 3 or 7 years old. At Leaping Learners Preschool, we cater to children with special needs and provide long hours of care from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. so you can rest easy knowing your child is in good hands. And for our tiniest learners, babies aged 3 months to 2 years, we offer nurturing daycare services to help them grow and thrive. Join the Leaping Learners family today. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Leaping Learners Preschool or visit our website at leapinglearnerstt.com to learn more. We are located in Barataria. Called 744-1523. That's 744-1523. Your child's future begins with a leap.
This isn't just a bottle, it's a moment. Coca-Cola is asking you to come out on August 2nd at Shops at West City Canaan. 12 to 5 p.m. and customize your Coke. Can't find your name in stores? We'll print it. More info on Instagram and Facebook at Caribbean Bottlers TT.
We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. Play way fast cash, that is the fit. We rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. No extra spend, just vibes and luck. Play way and fast cash turn up. We rollin', yes we rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. Mega mix or monster pick. Jackpot from 10,000 quick.
Jackpot starting at $10,000 have now been added to NLCB's Playway and Fast Cash games. Wager on Playway Mega Mix or Fast Cash Monster Draw for a chance to win the jackpot after every draw. Don't miss out. Visit NLCBgames.com for details. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifaba Mishe Aganki, better known as MC Duke.
And every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight,
I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Street 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in
every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight
for Orisha, The Way of Life.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM radio. Here my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the Street 919 FM.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the Street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health performance and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079 or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the Street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
United together. Come together. Stronger together. Unite together. United together. Come together. Stronger together. Unite together. United together. Come together. Stronger together. Unite together. United together. Come together. Stronger together. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from all the bad mind and envy. Africans must love each other. Help one another. Pray for each other. Emancipate yourself. From all of the mental slavery, emancipate yourself. From all the bad mind and envy, Africans must love each other, help one another, pray for each other. Tell my people gather together, together. When Africans gather together, together, we become more stronger, and we will have the victory. We will have the victory. When Africans gather together, together. When Africans gather together, together, we become more stronger, and we will have the victory. We will have the victory. Let us stop killing each other, each other. Respect and love one another, one another. Uplift and help out each other, and rebuild our families, rebuild our families. Let us stop killing each other, each other. Respect and love one another, one another. Uplift and help out each other, and rebuild our community, rebuild our communities. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from all the bad mind and envy. Africans must love each other, help one another, pray for each other. Emancipate yourself from all of the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from all the bad mind and envy. Africans must love each other, help one another, pray for each other.
Yes, listeners, we are back. And just to remind you, the new KFC tenders just landed. Hot and spicy or extra crispy or non-crispy. 3-piece, just only $29.95. Feeling hungry? For just $10 more, make it a combo with your favorite side and drink. Plus, this Java, we not chilling, we crispin. The crunch, dip it, dunk it, drip it. KFC, finger looking good. Ladies and gentlemen, we were just on a discourse relative to the Stand Your Ground legislation and the ease at which citizens are able to acquire firearms. And I think clearly the reason for all of this is the real mischief in my view is the speed at which crime is escalating, and the type of crimes, the type of invasion, home invasions, the type of things that criminals are doing to infringe on your rights as citizens. And I think at this time the government is saying that there must be another way, another layer that can assist in not the detection but the prevention of certain kind of crime. And they are seeing it as a way they can probably assist citizens in protecting themselves. What say you? I would like to hear. We had one of the umpires a little while ago speaking. I know he will call in again, and maybe we can discuss this, because here is where decisions are made. Here where information for decisions are had. We want to hear what you have to say. Stand Your Ground legislation and the ease of acquiring a firearm. Let's take a call from this caller. Good evening.
Good evening. Are you hearing me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes. But you would always have arguments for and against the whole idea of issuing firearms to citizens, right? I mean, it is not just issuing, but you must have guardrails. And the issue, I think your previous caller, one of the co-hosts, been speaking about, you know, the question of you issuing the firearms, but are we really? I think that is what I got of it. Are we, is the society really prepared for this? Because I don't. It's something new. Because when there's something new, in the sense that, you know, there'll be a wider issuance of firearms to the public. But in making legislation, again, you need good legislation. And the people must buy into it. The population must, in fact, buy into it. And you have the experts, you have people giving their views and whatnot. You have lawyers, you have different people from different professions there. You have the people dealing with guns and all that kind of thing, those who sell guns and whatnot. And the wider population. So I think it's a good thing, and given the level of crime in this country, and not just crime, but home invasion. A man's home was once thought to be his castle, and the stand-alone law, as a matter of fact, is intended for people to protect themselves or defend themselves within the confines of their home. You can't just run into people's home, and we have had many instances of that, where people in their home, the home invasion, you have people who got killed in the house, you have people invading people's house, cutting their throat and all that kind of. You have a myriad of behaviors against law-abiding citizens within the confines of their home, and therefore something has to be done. So I agree to some extent, but I'm saying they have to go tread carefully with it, because the question is, the society really, are we really prepared for that? And some people would say yes, some people may say no. Some people say yes, but I think that there are certain things that are being put in place in terms of the psychometric training, those requirements that people would have to go through.
But caller, let me stop you there. You think the psychometric training by itself, because most people could pass that. I mean, you think that by itself might be enough to just grant someone a firearm? I'm just asking.
No, that cannot be. You have to have a concatenation of requirements or tests or requirements which the persons must satisfy, which applicants must satisfy. That is just one. You have the question of the police visiting the home, interviewing the wife, the husband, to see whether in fact there's any dispute, domestic violence within the home. You have the question of whether the person has previous convictions. You have to look at the person's behavior within the community and all these different
What's
things.
about training and things?
Yeah, all that is important. You have to train them to use the guns and what happens with the firearm, and then you have ongoing, they have to come back. You know, those requirements must be put in place. Those are guardrails, and it's very important.
And I think, my position, just like you, I think there are good arguments for and against, but I think first, for those who have a serious problem with firearms and that kind of thing, maybe they shouldn't put themselves, or they shouldn't elect themselves to acquire one, right? Legally.
Well, I agree with you, because the thing about it is if you want a firearm, you apply for it. It doesn't mean they say you're going to get it, because you have
exactly.
that you must take.
So once you meet the
if
criteria,
you don't want a firearm, that is all right.
Exactly. If you meet the criteria, and the criteria should be set in a way that anybody could meet it. When I say anybody, any normal law-abiding citizen should be able to meet it, because obviously,
if you're in possession of a firearm, in a real sense, you give yourself a chance.
Exactly.
When people come into your house and they invade you, and you don't have a firearm to defend yourself, then you have no chance.
That is my position.
You have a chance.
And my position is, if I have a business, then I become a natural. I might become a natural prey to persons who want to, who are looking for in some way to attack me, right? And I'm saying, if I have the opportunity to protect myself with my business and my money or whatever, I mean, the other things that you might want to do, you might want to have a cashless system, you know, that kind of thing. But if I have a business, and I know that my business is subject to be robbed at any time,
You see the thing about it. I don't think you are making it up. I am making it up. The evidence is out there.
It's there.
Just this morning, a businessman, a fellow owner, I think a pub or some club, they went to him, he came outside and he was shot and he had his firearm on his side. And notwithstanding, well, he wasn't able to use it. And he was killed. A businessman.
Right.
I think he operated a pub or some bar or something like that, and he came outside to go to some kitchen on the outside, and he was ambushed, and he was killed.
Right.
So I'm saying that nobody's making the reality is there. The evidence is outside there. It is in our face. Right? And if we want to hide from it and bury your head in the sand, you bury your head. But it's real.
It is. It is. And one of the natural, I should say, the hypotheses is that you could at least protect yourself because you might be a target. And if you have a 10% opportunity to protect yourself, that is enough. That is more than 0%.
Yeah, but you see, again, on the other side of it, if you have a firearm, you could also be a target.
Yes, this is what I'm saying too. You could also be a target. But there's also the propensity that a man might be thinking, out of the 99 persons who might be thinking about robbing you, about 80 of them might say, listen, there's a great possibility that if we go there, we ain't sure what's going on. We are bound to come back out.
You may be able to reduce the risk, really.
Huh?
You can reduce the risk or the chances. If in fact you have a firearm, the risk or the chances of those people, succeeding in terms of maybe reduced.
Yeah. Now it doesn't stop them, as you say, it doesn't stop people from or bandits from coming in a certain way or coming in droves and attacking you different ways. You're not a policeman, you're not trained in that kind of way. You might still get ambushed, you might still get taken down, you might still lose your firearm. All those things are also expected. But I mean, all those things are things that the powers that maybe may have to think about before or while they're doing it. But these laws were already there already. The only thing is that citizens were taken advantage of. You had to pay a huge amount of money to the police and to
because this standard ground law, this proposed legislation, as you rightly said, it was really already in the common law.
Correct.
Of self-defense, where a man had a right to defend himself, but he has to show that with threat, the whole question of threat, imminent threat, the question of proportionality in terms of in using the force and all that kind of thing is there. But I think what they're trying to do is to strengthen it and codify it in terms of passing through the parliament.
Right, and therefore this discussion, in my opinion, is critical, and it is also necessary, so that the powers, maybe those legislators, could now take this kind of information and think about the other things, like the legislative side of it, the forensics, the ease at which persons could get it, the ease at which crimes could be investigated when something happened. So you put certain powers in the legislation so that the police could do certain things, gather certain kind of information, that kind of thing. And I think those are the areas that will also create deterrent for persons who are licensed firearm users taking advantage of it.
One of the things, I don't want to take too much of your time, but one of the things that is very critical in terms of legislating is the question of participation, public citizen participation, or consultation. Once you embark on that, it paves the way for good sound legislation, because you get the views of everybody, at least the majority of the people within the society. You get expert information,
exactly,
right? Expert views, and therefore you're more likely to make good legislation, good law, as against you just going and say a personal law on stand your ground and you consult with nobody. You don't have the views of different interests within the community, business. You don't have you don't have the views or the ideas from the law association, from citizens, the ordinary citizen. All these things. So I think it's very critical, and I'm saying that the government is on the right path.
Yeah, I think so too. Although this would have germinated from the campaign, a campaign promise. But really and truly, it is something that was already there. I mean, a citizen could have always acquired a firearm if he needed to. You just had to go through a process and in some cases pay a lot of money.
Yes.
All right, so let me take another caller.
Yeah.
Good evening, caller. Hello? Good evening,
Good
live.
afternoon.
Yeah? Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes. Could I ask you a question?
You can always ask me questions. I am the third umpire.
Right. Mr. Empire. How many murders we have had this year?
I think we crossed probably 100 and something. I'm not too sure
100,
the
right.
exact figure.
And last year we had how the amount, right?
We had in excess of 500.
Where the ones that were killed, like with gun, the ones not chop or nothing, the ones that were killed, where did those people get those guns? Did they go and get it? Could they buy it normally? Like,
What do you mean
do they have to go on?
The ones that were killed, or the one that did the shooting?
The murderers. The murderers.
Right.
Where how many murderers who killed last year and this year got their guns?
Well, I don't know.
Where they got it?
Maybe the police or the investigators could tell you, but most of them would have come from
because but even we could think as you.
They would have come through illegal means, through importing. We don't make guns in
Trinidad and Tobago. Well,
so
okay, well,
North America
this is what I'm saying.
Or they would have come from Venezuela
Mr. Matheson. Right. We're not assuming. Just they might and they might, but let us say they get it illegally, however they got it.
Right.
Right? And they didn't have a difficulty getting it because apparently they very nicely. It has so much out there already, right? You could imagine the pile coming again, because I figure people who want a gun know how to get a gun. And as you said, probably, you remember a lot of people, like police and all kind of things, rent the guns, you know. I think I don't know if you're too young to know.
Well,
but
I
don't forget that people with
because remember a gun
people
have a
with legal guns.
A gun have a ballistic, so I mean a fingerprint. So if you're renting your gun, you have to be real careful because the
no, don't be careful. What I'm telling you, years ago we know that. Years ago, people used to rent the guns. Whoever have the gun legally, they didn't have to go and look. You know, the people with legal guns, they used to rent out the guns. Right? Who don't know that?
Okay, but you think that...
And that is why we had to go through all this.
You think that could
we go into so much thing like we don't know. I'm just saying, Mr. Madison, people must learn to live. I don't know how they will change their mind, but they have to learn to live in peace.
Right.
Because you know, they have to learn to live in peace. I don't know how that will be.
So the philosophers,
but I am wondering all the people.
The philosophers will have told, the philosophers, and I know you understand what I'm going to say. The philosophers like Rousseau and Hobbes, and they would have said that in a society without order, life will be brutish. Right? And therefore,
life will be what?
Brutish. We will have anarchy. Life will be brutish.
Right, yeah.
Without order.
Right.
And therefore, putting it on your law books is order. Outside of that, life is brutish.
Oh, right.
Right? So what we have right now, with all that illegal firearms you just spoke about, that is brute. That's the brutish you're talking about.
Right.
Right? So we are saying that making it more accessible for the would-be victim, or I should say the prey. No, you now have the prey and the predator. So making it more accessible for the prey to defend themselves, while life may continue to be brutish, you may have less people dying. Or you would have more of the predator. You may have more of the predator dying than the prey. I'm just saying. we have to think about it.
Yeah.
Every one life you could save from a legislation like this is plenty, you know. You have one less family crying. You have one less family without a living, right? You have one less family, you know, happy.
But do you think that is true? But do you think, Mr. Madison, right? You all speak so much about home invasion. Where you live? I mean, you might want to see where you live. But how many homes do you know? Do you think that home invasion
Well, I live
targeted?
I live in a place where they don't break in house and thing.
Right. Well, I'm not going to tell you that because
I sleep with my door open
lived.
and windows open. No, you're breaking house where
That's what I'm coming to tell you. That's what my mind
but
too.
I'm
not saying nothing about the guns.
You know what area is that?
What is that?
You know what area is that? That is Lavandle.
What area?
Lavandle.
Good. Yeah, because that's a protected area, right?
Why is that protected area?
But of course, Lavandle is a protected area, no?
Tell me how.
When you live in there, very secure with the people. No, you can't walk in just so. From the time you walk in, who is a man?
Okay.
And if you ask for anybody, they don't know. They will say they don't know. No, anyway, Lavandle is protected.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to tell you, I think a lot of the home invasions, people know who they're going by and why they're going. Plenty times. I'm not saying all the time. Right? I just figure so. People know why they're going and where they're going. But as they say, if you want to have your gun, keep your, you know, I'm not saying people shouldn't go and get a gun, right? That is very good. Because not everybody going to get a gun who want it either. Right? Remember, you have to qualify for it. Right? So that's...
okay. So let me take another caller here. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Stephen.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Mr. President.
An artist is sociologist, Stephen. Yeah, because you had a nice conversation with, good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. You had a nice conversation with Andrew Wiley.
Right.
You know, he's a psychologist.
Yeah.
And the next brother who is going to be servant, he is a philosopher. Okay. He has come in with some serious originalities and things. So I could make out the theory inside of the atom. And that atom had to grow some more atoms. They had to put on 12 atoms so that we could have each one of them atoms holding down a portfolio, a ministry, the duties, the discipline. All these things won't come in. Those are the things that when we start to grow them in the society, give the society a mandated consciousness of discipline and all duties to do so that we will have a flow that being ordered and we could rule it by putting down that committee, that council.
But what is your position, Mr. President? What is your position on the proposed legislation, standing wrong legislation?
Right, my position on that, I know you would have said that anyway. My position on that is, I am not one to gun murder or something. I already find my society should have that. Gun won't change nothing. It's the thoughts of men according to how we think that and project thought that could bring harmony, unity, consciousness between us. understand, appreciation, love, these things. That is what's going to bring the truth. But what we're going at is to continue the corruption, the evil, the European ideology that reached to us. We didn't make guns, we didn't have guns. I remember when they was talking about the World Wide West. That was gun on your sack. You have 2 guns on your side, if you have one on your back, 2 same things. They bring all of that to me. We just absorb it. So now we have a society that they ask now for the hierarchies and them to get guns. And if the hierarchies go end up with most of them, plenty of them guns. Because that real gun in Trinidad illegal. So we ain't shooting up one another just with, except for somebody had a bad mind or some kind of thing or some kind of thing.
But Mr. President, Mr. President,
yeah.
let me engage you. But them same
yeah,
that you're talking about that bring guns, they brought the Bible too, you know that.
Well, all right, you continue.
they brought the Bible too. And they brought education too.
Continue.
Right. So I mean,
you see, it's a system. And all what you're saying, you're right. Because they brought to where we came from and where they bring we, and they give us those things. It is a society, it's a system today that we live in, right? I understand it. And the position, I can't talk about love when I know it's wrong. So if somebody has to get where they have to get, they really have to put it in the right hand that the society will satisfy, because this society, where I am as a poor man down to the ground, I ain't satisfied with it because I know that is me who are going to go turn on, even so that you might say somebody who going in somebody's house. I'm telling you right now, it's the people that rob one another in all the communities. You don't hear nobody looking to shoot nobody, like pull a cutlass at big stone or somebody get some slap some kind of way or some kind of thing. It's happening to we, but who does take on what's happening to we? We looking to only perpetuate helping the man who victimizing we, oppression we, and all kind of thing, and they want gun to shoot it too. Yeah, like, we ain't thinking how them thinking to say they bring in legislation. We thinking different. We ain't thinking different. So all the talk, people talking, but yeah, bring your gun. If you want your gun, bring your gun to know. We have people who in the garden, doing agriculture, and they have a gun, they have to shoot two booty. They don't really have shooting no boy nowhere with that. You understand? So if that can happen, but they have to legislate the thing in a nice kind of way, because I don't want no South Africa where you go meet a black boy in the street just one killing because you are going on their permission.
But I don't think.
And it's going to happen if we only allow to only evil thing and only gun, but nobody has to turn any mind to discipline.
Mr. President, I don't think we have that kind of problem here. I mean, what we have more of a problem here is citizens being taken advantage of by miscreants.
Well, the truth of the matter is we make a society like that. And if we have to deal with it, we have to deal with it. I only hoping in our conscience that we have conscience and control it properly. Because that is what it's going to demand. That we control properly. I can't go all the way to say I could stop nothing until we close down or we make amnesty, bringing all the gun. If I catch you with a gun, you're dead. Even if you have it, you're bound to shoot it.
Yeah, but look how long. Those are things that were tried already. You know that.
But
those are things were tried here already. And the police seems to be helpless, seems to be hopeless.
You find a position where they're looking to level the job and put the job on citizens. No talking. Because if anything in the society start to raise up, you go see how much police, they say they have enough police, you go see how much it is to quell down a revolution. You go see. So what is them doing? And they want to put the thing in it, and it's not them, you know. Because who controlling them is the hierarchies, the masses. It's them who control it with politics. The same religion you talk about it, there's no one
but think
we have to go deep to understand what's going on. We are just saying that the gun going to use on eventually.
Think about it, Mr. President. Mr. President.
But still,
the laws to acquire a firearm was always there. But who was getting it? Who was getting it before? Listen, who was getting it before? Who was getting it before? Were the persons who could afford to pay the $60,000 for it. You could afford to pay $60,000 for it?
No.
Right. And who were the persons in the majority that were taken advantage by crime? Huh?
Yeah, so that's a nice question.
So now we have a government.
Who getting advantage in the system
right. So you had one group of people
with $7 an hour wage and all kind of things.
Just now. Listen to me. You had one group of people who was benefiting from crime all the time. You had that same group of people who had protection because they could have paid the $60,000 for a firearm. Now you have a government that is saying that if you feel that you are at risk, you could be a prey at any time, then, and you feel that you have the need, you need to protect yourself, we are making it simple and easy. We're removing that $60,000 barrier or whatever from it for you to be able to acquire the protection that you may need.
All right.
That is my position. That is my position on it.
All right.
I am not saying this to say that it's a good thing that everybody should have a gun. I'm not saying that to say that. I'm saying that those who feel that they may need it and have good intent to protect themselves and may be competent enough to protect themselves, maybe they should at least have a fighting chance to get one.
All right, and you could agree with that as long as they take the right regulation and they do the thing nice in the country that everybody goes satisfied. Well, they had a reason and it was consciousness and things that work.
So
I can't say no to the situation because the system requires such a thing because you can't move with the system as it is just so something had happened. But very, very cautious and conscience supposed to work here. And if that is how the society had to end up, and that is how the government going to make sure it be, that government we have there, okay, my brother, okay, Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, Chase the Crunch with KFC this Java. Get your 3-piece tenders for $29.95, spicy or not. These chips come in crispy and craving worthy. Then follow the Chase, the Crunch trail popping up near you. It's immerse, it's wild, and it's your shot at KFC voucher, Merce, and Ultimate Chill Kit. Stay ready, stay tuned, stay hungry. KFC, finger looking good. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, we are discussing the issue of the proposed stand your ground legislation, one, and the ease at which you can acquire a firearm in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's take a call. Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon, sir. It's a good conversation with you. The stand your ground law is a very good thing. This government is going to try to see how they can help people. Now, you have your mother in your house where you live in it, say, Cuba, not there. All the UNC areas they are safe at all. Now, 2 old people in front of us living in a house. They go, they beat up the old lady, the old man, take everything from the outside and I'm gone. They reach in the hospital 2 weeks after they're dead. In Tiaco village, they're gone. The people have the business. Indian people, government never helped Indian people for their business. When they wasn't getting jobs, they start sell parlor, they start selling on the train, and they never give the children what they want. They would not give them to eat and drink all what they want, to wear what they want. And plenty African people too. And they would not spend the money all where they have to go. Like some Indian and some African. You're going in that, you're going in everything you can and nothing. So they start thinking differently. All right, the people in the house, they have a little business. Yeah? So the stand your ground law, it's good. Some of them go get it. They come right into the old Indian woman. They beat she has to go to a place right wrong. They make sure they beat she, they tie she, and they take everything and go. You know how hard somebody sit down and working in the place with a sore foot? You have a sore foot, and you have to sit down and work in your cheap place. And you build a little house and you're living in it. They don't want to work. They go in. Look like in Caracol, that happened this week. A fellow have 2 trucks. If I have machine needs a little change, if I have plants, they have me too. And you must go to the bank, buy 1 truck after that, and you buy a next one. You have an employee. You must get work with the truck. Mara said, good bit of them. The boy said, a good bit of them. Just meet them, come by where you live in now. And say, 1.2 million they call him. 1.5 million. Why you don't go? I'm not encouraging no violence. The TNM people is the one who raised the country. One curriculum, they all was booming. All who was in the TNM, go by the children and grandchildren. The poor young boy, a Douglas boy, he cut the dream at certain time to get that money. He said, where do I get that money from? He tell him, ma, you expect me dead any time, because he's para dead. Ma, because so. She said, but we ain't know the people. He told him that when they come to get that money, the boy going in the island, man. They killed him and they go on, nobody know who they is and where they're from.
So caller, do you think that it is a good thing or not to...
The stand your ground law is a very good thing. Because I will tell you something. What right somebody else must come in your place? What right they want in your place? Even if it is a advocate, a thief is a criminal. I think the people come to think as advocate or think as flowers, they are criminal. When you hear the police do their work, you see with the kidnapping, I'm so glad. They get 2. They should have get all. And my mind is, let me tell you something, gentlemen. A mother, I don't know for you, if you must have a good job and pay, a mother work cocoa land, work cane land, all kind of things. They drink sugar water, they drink water coffee, and to mind the children to get big, especially, I actually help parents, and they come out bad. Single parents could never come out bad if they are good parenting. Give them it the hard way. And somebody comes to kidnap your child, this government says to have 25,000 you want return, $25,000 in the bank. You can't have pension. But you work your whole life in cocoa land. You work your whole life all about, and you say, who you working for? They must say, look, you work your whole life here. Total load 3 miles, 4 miles. You save up $30,000 or $40,000 in the bank. They taking that. I'm so glad they're gone. God bless Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm glad that this time you're gone. Because it's very nice for somebody to come and meet your mother, you know. Or your child or your wife, you know.
Okay.
You're in a safe place, but nobody else says no.
Yes.
No.
So I support you on that. Thank you for calling, caller. Yeah. So there we go. We have another person who would have indicated that maybe it is a good thing and it is something that we can certainly adopt to at least save some people and probably create a barrier, an extra layer of deterrence. And trust me, it will, in my opinion, humble opinion, create a level of deterrence. Now, I'm not saying that in some ways it will also make some persons more susceptible to being attacked or become victims of criminals who seek to take the firearm from them if they know. But that's why it's called concealed. I mean, you should have, before getting a firearm, there must be, or there should be, some kind of facility in your home or otherwise where your firearm could be safe. Safe from children, safe from bandits, safe from, safe. So that too is an issue that maybe should be given a lot of consideration in granting a firearm. And I know it is already a provision, a criteria, but it is something that one must know, that your firearm is like a child. You have to keep it safe. You have to protect your firearm too, because there will be perpetrators who will be looking to take it from you, and you need to understand that also. So, callers, I invite you to call in. Let's hear what your position is on this particular issue, so that we could say with some degree of. Good evening, caller.
Hey, good evening, the Empires. Good evening, Mr. Matheson.
Good evening.
You're fooling only fought by yourself, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
So, hi, Dave, and everything good. So let me forget the legislation and all that, because we know they will work on it, they will go and ask questions. But let me think of it as a person on the ground. Before you go and get the firearm, there will be some form of psychiatric evaluation.
Yes.
And secondly, they will come and look at the premises to see if your house is secure enough to hold a firearm. Because obviously it had to go in a safe.
Correct.
You can't put it in any way for anybody to get it. It had to be in a safe with a code.
Correct.
Then they'll look at your character. They will ask questions around the neighborhood, if he is a drunkard, if it have plenty domestic violence, all that.
If you beat your wife or your girlfriend, if your girlfriend has beat you.
Yeah. And if your kid's involved in anything. So they will find, just like when you're going to apply for your pension, they just go around your neighborhood, ask for your criteria and stuff, right? So, and then as an individual now who will get this firearm, they will say to themselves, listen, this firearm is to protect my daughters, it's to protect my son, my wife, my mom, my dad.
My business.
They will not, they know the property, they will not jeopardize it. That if the neighbor and you have a squabble, they won't pull it out to go to the neighbor. Because they know there will be consequences and that could get taken out of their hands.
Of course.
So they will feel a sense of protection, a sense of comfort, I have this. And they will do the utmost not to jeopardize losing it.
And I'm saying those are necessary guardrails that put in. Those, by the way, those things are already there. I mean, we're not talking about something that we're not trying to, and I'm sure the government not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're just trying to add extra safety. Because all those things you're talking about there, those things are already there when you apply for a firearm. Long years ago, all those things they do that you talk about there, the police do that. They come, they talk to your neighbor, they do an eval psych. They check to see what kind of person you are, your character. You have to get a certificate of character. All those things are already there. So it is not that it is not there. What was happening before was that the system was just inherently corrupt. So exactly. I know of situations where persons would have applied for a firearm, and they were told that to get it to go up to the commissioner, you had to pay $60,000. I know for a fact. I could tell you that, right? So yes. Now, why were you applying for a firearm at that time? You're applying for a firearm to protect yourself, to protect your family, to protect your business.
Right.
And now they are saying they're revising the system so that's the firearm part, so that you can, those who are interested or who are desirous to entertain the thought of getting a firearm, it must be done, it could be done with all those encumbrances.
Right, Mr. Matheson, and and I know that, and you know that because I sure you have what. All right, that's it, eh?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I just see all those things because that's for the people who never apply for one, so they don't know the criteria.
Yes.
That's why they don't see certain things. You see, what they have to do, they have to look at everything and then make a decision before, because let's be honest, the crime is a runaway horse. And it's the law-abiding citizen who feel any brunt of it. Because if you really look at the stats, data, how many murders were committed in Trinidad and Tobago with legal firearms?
Not much.
Just a couple, maybe.
Not much.
Yeah, just a couple.
Probably about less than 1%.
But that is what I'm saying. So we don't see it working in a certain sense.
This is what I'm saying. This is what to the people who the detractors. I mean, I am not. I ain't working for the government. I ain't saying that. But to me, something is better than nothing.
Exactly.
So if you're giving me a 10% chance of surviving, you save 3 families for the year. You save a lot. That's my.
And that's exactly Mr. Matheson. And before I leave, because I know other people want to call in, it will be a deterrent for the criminal elements because they will say, boy, I don't know if I could pick up something if I go to peek by this window, if I go pick up this, who will pick up first, because whoever first coming in first serve.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You come on here, sure. You come on here, sure. You can get one.
Yeah, one time. All right, Mr. Matheson.
All right. Okay, take care.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, caller. Sorry for. Yeah. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon.
You're live.
The law is a good law. It allows citizens the right to defend themselves in their homes and on their property.
Correct.
However, it doesn't tell you that you must become a killer or a violent person. It tells you that you can defend yourself in the event that you have to do that. There are many issues that we have to find out about in order for we to understand clearly what are our rights as individuals. Because I was listening to another program where Mr. Kyle Takalkin had said that if the danger is not imminent, then you cannot set a trap or you cannot kill a person when they come in your premises.
But that is normal criminal law, right? You can't set up somebody to kill them, right? So
correct.
There must be some. If there's a certain kind of intent, well then you're putting yourself in danger. But
the message you get from that is that if the guy comes in and he fire 2 shots and he miss, then go back outside and set a trap and then tell him come back in.
Nah.
So it's a kind of foolish thing. So the other issue here now is that if I have a license for a gun and I have the permit to conceal and carry, and the neighbors call me and tell me, look, bandits home and they probably shoot your family. And when I reach home and I break the gate now, I see men jumping over the fence. I can't shoot them. I can't defend myself because the danger is not imminent.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's another issue. If I'm issued a firearm, my children are not authorized to use that. And in the sense that they're not authorized to use that now, if bandits come in and have a gun home, they cannot use it. And then another issue is that if that 3 bandits come in and are able now to take away the gun from one of them, and it's an illegal gun, and I shoot the 3 of them, then I am now guilty of using an illegal firearm.
Well, that will depend on the self-defense.
The danger.
The danger and how it happens. So that will take
something that I clarify. Another issue is this. a guy come in the house, so I take my baseball bat and I hit him on the head and I knock him out and I apprehend him. And I call the police and they carry him down, so they charge him. Would he be granted bail? And then when he come back now for repercussion, light up my house, light up my car, one bit down and all kind of thing. Now, there are other issues with it.
All those are realities that exist today and had always existed in the law. I mean, you can't use excessive force to deal with a situation.
Yeah, but what is excessive force? So if I eating dinner and you come in and the fork have in the hand, I get about 10 stabbing and like that in you. That is excessive force.
Well, you will have to establish the intent. What you thought was the intent.
Good. Now, let me talk some common sense now. The issue here now is that we have a protective service that is designed to protect everybody, to protect and to serve. If they are strategically located and they're on the road and they could respond in less than 5 minutes, and I have a safe house home and I can press a button that is silent, and I retreat into the safe house and I press the button and the police turn up on the job and do their job, then I won't have a problem.
Right.
Right now, my children know.
And so do we.
So my children know was watching Home Alone.
On the Street 919 FM.
What's up? You there?
Are you tired of scratching the surface? Do you want to understand the real forces shaping Trinidad and Tobago? From the delicate dance of our energy sector on the global stage, to the geopolitical shadows behind the crime affecting our streets, we dig deeper. The third umpire goes beyond the headlines. We connect the dots between local challenges and the international currents that truly impact your life, your wallet, your security. Join Stephen Matheson, Selvin Mitchell, and Ronaldo Rollux, 3 employment law and human resource management consulting professionals, as they unpack the complexities, analyze the power plays, and reveal the often hidden realities. Understand the game. Understand your role in it. The third umpire, critically analyzing Trinidad and Tobago's economic and political realities on how they affect your daily lives. Tune in Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. on the Street 919 FM. Don't just listen to the news. Understand it.
We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. Play way fast cash, that is the fit. We rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. No extra spend, just vibes and luck. Play way and fast cash turn up. We rollin', yes we rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. Mega mix or monster pick. Jackpot from 10,000 quid.
Jackpot starting at $10,000 have now been added to NLCB's Playway and Fast Cash games. Wager on Playway Mega Mix or Fast Cash Monster Draw for a chance to win the jackpot after every draw. Don't miss out. Visit NLCBgames.com for details. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Light up your weekends at Vibes Nightclub, Tobago's hottest spot. 3 epic nights of music and energy await every Thursday. Karaoke Thursdays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Grab the mic, unleash your inner star, and sing all night. Beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and giveaways for the best singers. Every Friday, Limers Fridays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Vibes with your crew and enjoy beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and 2 White Oak for $25. Every Saturday, Raw Saturdays. Everything goes, nothing but good vibes. Free entry and an all-star DJ cast to bring the vibes. Vibes Nightclub is where Tobago shines. Join us Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for music, fun, and unforgettable nights. Don't miss out. Your weekend starts at Vibes.
The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap Gap Pills, and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
Planning your Tobago getaway? Choose the highest Google-rated car rental company on the island, O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago. Located just minutes from the A&R Robinson International Airport, at O'Neill, we pride ourselves on being the most tech-savvy car rental company in Tobago. Our process is 100% digital. No paperwork, no long lines. From easy pickup to seamless returns, renting a car in Tobago has never been simpler. WhatsApp us now at 1-868-361-1042 to book your vehicle. Don't forget to mention promo code RADIO2 to receive a 5% discount on your rental. Send a WhatsApp message to 1-868-361-1042 today. That's 1-868-361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago, the easiest, most reliable car rental experience on the island.
Vehicle availability is subject to change. Driver must be at least 25 years old and have a valid driver's license to book. For more information, visit www.rentalcartobago.com.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Yes, caller, we are back. And sorry to the last caller that got cut off. We had to go and pay some bills. So this summer, Pizza Hut is bringing the heat with a deal that is too good to miss. Get one large pizza plus cheesy breadsticks for just $1.35. Pepperoni, cheese, Hawaiian and more. Pick your flavor and make it a hot day. Dine in, carry out, or get it delivered. Get your hot deals till August 31st, only at Pizza Hut. Now that's delivering. Ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about the Stand Your Ground legislation, and of course, using the cricketing metaphor, we obviously have the persons, the ministers in government that deals with national security, that is Wayne Sturge and Mr. our Tunapuna candidate, our Tunapuna MP in office. I don't want to call his name, but those are the two batsmen in the wicket. And obviously, the legislation relative to Stand Your Ground is on the table, and also the issue of making a firearm or making firearms more available, not more available, more easily accessible to those needing or wanting to have it as a mechanism of protection. We wanted to hear what are your position relative to that. We also have, I have a position as an umpire, and I know you have a position also. I think the legislation is good, in my opinion, and it would present another layer to assisting in the crime fighting effort or the crime prevention effort. But in itself, there are also inherent challenges or dangers, and that is if persons are not properly trained to use the firearms, if persons are not properly equipped with the necessary protection for the firearm, if you have other persons in your home that may have access to the firearm that are not licensed to use the firearm, then there could be issues or problems that could arise. And the last caller was raising some very, very pertinent issues which relates to the act of self-defense. Some people may think that if a bandit come in your house and kill somebody in your house, or somebody come in and kill somebody, and he was escaping, he was on his way out, and you run down the person outside of your home and you kill him, then you may have some questions to answer. That is something that that is a challenge, and that is something that for however you want to look at it, it is something serious to think about, because if you are in imminent danger, then it might be practical to try to defend yourself, and therefore the use of the firearm then may become something that you could do. A man coming to you with a knife or charging you with a knife may not necessarily be a situation that you may want to use a firearm or to defend yourself. I'm not saying you can't, but you will have to pick your fight. You will have to understand also, and this is where the knowledge and the training and the knowledge of the use of a firearm may come in. Let me take this call. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Matheson, and good afternoon to your listeners. You alone here?
Yeah, I'm alone here today.
No, you know, this is such a complex matter, and it's not just only with the stand your ground legislation that they're trying to implement, but also with the use of force powers that police also have, right? As I say, it's so complex because police have wounded or killed unarmed people already, or people who are wielding blades or knives or whatever, what have you. You understand? We have seen so much different type of things that some people really may not understand what is required from a firearms user or somebody who uses a firearm. Even the rhetoric that is coming from the mouth of politicians as it relates to empty the clip without giving it context.
Yes.
Right? You see, they're telling you that, and when you in the court, they wouldn't be there to help you.
Correct.
Right? When you empty the clip, when what was justified, what could have been justified would have probably been just one shot or two shots, right? Regardless of where the person picked it up, because people have to understand to stay out of people's property, number one.
Yeah.
Right? You have to understand that if you find yourself on the people's property, right, then you're really not supposed to end up in that.
You can't kill a man you can't send a man, give a man the death sentence for thieving your mango.
Yeah, you understand? And the thing, and the court would look at it just in that manner. If one shot was sufficient, yeah, there was no need to empty the clip. But when you keep hearing this from the platform over and over, empty the clip, load it up, empty the clip, and remember these people is legal minded, lawyers who know that the law doesn't really give you that leeway to just empty the clip without proper cause for doing so, right? Because when you go through your firearm training and what have you, you understand all these things would be taught to you.
Exactly. I was about to say that.
Yeah, as to how to treat with perpetrators or would-be perpetrators based on their action. If they enter in, if they're retreating, if they're armed, if they're unarmed, all of that will be, because one thing people forget is communication is a very serious thing. And the police and all have fallen short as it relates to the communication that ought to take place while you're bearing arms. If you're able to draw the attention of the person to try to neutralize the situation without getting into lethal force, then that is an avenue that really you're supposed to try. But we just see all kind of things happening in this country. As I say, this is a very complex matter, and the people who have the information and the legal minds really need to set the narrative in such a way that it is beneficial for everybody who is receiving it, not just these little clips and thing, empty the clip without no context behind it, saying that, you know, if you do empty the clip, on somebody, you very well might be spending the rest of your life in jail for some kind of second degree murder or some kind of thing, or manslaughter or what have you.
Exactly.
You understand? So people, as you rightly say, some people, you don't want it. It is not mandatory. If you feel you can function without it, all well and good. For the people who feel they need to have it, they need to understand in that process that you will be going through. And you're not sure to get it, just because you have a property to defend. There's no surety that you will get it. But for the persons who do end up getting it, I hope that good sense prevail and it do, the casket don't cost more than the funeral. And that you lost your whole life because you can't control your brains. The gun is now thinking for you.
Exactly.
And
that was needed. That is so critical that the persons who may be seeking to acquire a firearm must also know that they have to be temperate. They have to understand when they could use it and when they cannot use it. You can't be quarreling with your neighbor and you and your neighbor having an argument and you run out and you pull out a firearm because you feel you're in danger. You're not in any danger. Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to be long. Someone made a mention about going after the person who is running away from your home.
Mm-hmm.
The man is no longer a threat.
No longer a threat.
No longer a threat. And your last caller, that Chris made a very good point with respect to the force, reasonable force. What is reasonable? The court will determine what is reasonable. But the question, the issue of proportionality. You don't take a hammer to kill a fly.
Exactly. So all these things are things I guess will come out in the training, which is why I would have said earlier on, I don't think it's something it's not in a vacuum. You shouldn't be able to acquire this in a vacuum. You must go through a series of training and psychometric and all the other things before you should be allowed to be able to acquire a firearm, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the dialogue on the radio, on the various media and whatnot is very critical, and I think it's helpful in enlightening the population.
Yes.
So, yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, caller. Yeah, so people must know, citizens must know, one, the ability to acquire a firearm was always there. That was always on the law books, from as long as I know it. Let me take this call. Yeah. Good afternoon, caller again.
Hey, good evening again, Mr. Matteson. Yeah. Mr. Matteson, this is what I'm trying to figure out. A lot of people speaking about outside the property, right? This legislation is for when they're breaking in your house.
Yes, yes.
This has nothing to do with outside. All right. If you see people on the outside, you still have time to let your family call the police. You're not going to open up your front door to go outside to face them, to give them access to come in your house.
No, you see an argument outside with two neighbors and you going out with a firearm like you the Lone Ranger. You John Wayne.
Like you, yeah. Because this legislation is for when they're breaking in inside your house, when they kick down your door and they break down your window and they come in.
Or they come inside, they come in your house and inside your yard and your fence. Beyond your fence, inside your yard, your property.
Let me say they come by your car, right, Mr. Matteson? You're not going to confront them out by your car. You will call the cops and you might shout out and say, get out my property. But you're not going to open the door. But if they break in your house, like your front door, your window, and come inside your house, in your living room, you have all rights. This is why I feel the legislation is these were people getting carried away with. Because, Mr. Matteson, to be honest with you, even if I have a firearm and I was living in Trinidad and I see 4 men in my yard, you think I'm going to confront them with one gun?
No. I'm not. Them fellas might have AR-15 on them.
Yeah, it's not Steven Seagal.
Or Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes, but I know if anybody kick down my door, the first person going to pick up, go on. I can guarantee that. All right, Mr. Matteson, look on this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, make today a hot day with Pizza Hut. hot sun, cool vibes, and sizzling deals. Grab one large pizza with breadsticks for $135 for delivery, carry-out, or dine-in. Only at Pizza Hut. Now that's delivering. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking about this stand your ground legislation, and we've also been talking about the ease at which you can acquire a firearm. Now, we have been saying that without saying that there are criteria for which one has to, hurdles for which one has to jump through to be able to acquire that, and that is well documented and in the public sphere. The stand your ground legislation, as many of the callers would have indicated before, are confined to protecting yourself, your family, and your property in the confines of your property. Right? You don't want to, you wouldn't have an opportunity where, you see something happening outside that in no way creates any kind of challenge or any kind of risk to your life and limb or your family life and limb. Go outside with your gun to say you're confronting somebody, a dog, a cat, a man, a woman, because you have a firearm. It is not how it works. It has never worked like that, and it is not how it is supposed to work. You have a concealed firearm, and it should remain. Nobody shouldn't even know you have a firearm, as a matter of fact. You know when people walking around with firearms and nobody know they have it? And that is how it is supposed to be. But the idea of making it public, making legislation, it adds, in my mind, in my opinion, it adds a certain, another degree of, or layer of protection, psychologically and otherwise, now that the person who might be thinking about breaking your house, who might be thinking about harming you in a particular kind of way, may now be thinking twice before they do that. And therefore, that in itself might be a deterrent, that in itself might be a life-saving deterrent, because you may escape as a result of that psychological thought that this legislation or the prevalence of people owning firearm would bring. And that is my thesis on this whole issue. I also think that those persons who are so averse to firearm and the use of firearm and the allowing persons to have firearm, maybe they should not think about, because a firearm is a traumatizing thing, you know. I mean, if you ever hold one of them, you know it's a heavy thing. I mean, if you shoot if you bust a shot, it don't go where you're pointing. So you have to be trained to use it. You can't just take it up and shoot it. You might shoot somebody home by you instead of shooting the bandit. Right? You have to be trained to use a firearm. A firearm is not something that you could just take up and just shoot just so. So, ladies and gentlemen, the lines are open. Our number is 342-0081-466-5391. Call us. Call the show. We are here today to hear what your comments are, and we have, not in studio but in the wicket, as the third umpires, we have both ministers that deal with national security. What say you? Plenty people talking, but I would like to hear what you have to say. Today a man got, or I should say last night, a man was in a police station. He got arrested for burglary, I think it was, and he was taken to the St. Joseph police station. And while there, for the 4 to 5 hours that he was there unsupervised in his cell, he was strangled, apparently, allegedly strangled to death in his cell. I don't think it had any other cellmates with him. So the question is how that happened. Those are some of the issues that we continue to have to deal with in society today. And while fingers might be pointed to the protective service, in this case the St. Joseph Police, the St. Joseph Police Station is now a crime scene. This in no way relates to this stand your ground legislation. In no way could have helped this person. So, except to say that he might have burglarized someone's home, and some may say that he got what he deserved. I wouldn't say that, because the man died in a prison. He died in a cell, and that should not have happened. A man is innocent until proven guilty, and of course, the police do trial. The court, you go before a court, a prosecutor, and you answer to a magistrate or a judge, and they make the decisions. So, let me take this call. Good evening, caller.
Good evening again, Mr. Matos. You said something just now, and in theory, a man is innocent until proven guilty, but here in Trinidad, as long as you are a suspect of the police, apparently you are guilty of whatever offense they hold you for, right? Or if you're killed by the police, regardless of the circumstance, as you rightfully say, some people saying you get what you deserve without even knowing, right? What are the real facts of the matter? You're just going based on what the police offer to you. So, for instance, like the recent kidnapping that the police would have successfully gotten back the lady, but taking the life of the two men, some people don't want it to have no investigation, but there must have an investigation. How will we know if you're really for the kidnapping, or if it's just some kind of red herring to troll for you? Because,
or if it is that you found out that those were the men who kidnapped and you went and killed them after, we don't know.
We don't know.
Correct, and you're correct.
And the thing about it is, just hypothetically speaking, what if police were involved in that kidnapping, and police, knowing where they have the body of the woman held up, just make a call, hey, I'll go up and meet me by this house here, I'm coming up there now. And as they reach, they put bullet on to all, and all become the prime suspects, and the case closed, because that is what the police offering all as the truth, right, when it really may not be so.
Right, so all that is supposition, but the thing is, you're correct, you are very correct. A man is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly.
And there's something called due process, and that means that if you are arrested for a crime, you have the rights to an attorney, you have the rights to remain silent, you have the rights to give a statement, and you have the right, the absolute ultimate right, to go before a judge, a jury, or a magistrate.
Correct, but I don't think most police respect our right to remain silent. It's only according to the settings, then they will act accordingly, but most officers don't respect your right to remain silent.
Correct.
And it is because they get too emotionally attached to the job that they are doing. Too much time they get into emotions when they're carrying about the job. Hence the reason why we can get stories of persons falling off a chair. You understand? When you apprehend somebody, the majority of your work is done. All you have to do is present the prosecutor for you have to present all the argument in the courtroom.
Exactly.
But
put your evidence together, put your thing together, send it to you have your prosecutor.
And if all you know, all you have to sharpen up, send the prosecuting officers to do some work to assist them to become better at what they're doing.
Right. And I want to agree to it, because I mean, you know what the show is. And today we have, I would call him, we'd have Roger Alexander and Will Surge in the chair today. And one of the things that I keep hearing for the last 10, 15 years is body cameras, body cam and that kind of thing. But yet still, I think a policeman, once you shoot somebody and you didn't have on a body cam, you should be charged.
Well, I wouldn't go to that extent unless you mandate them to have on the body cam.
But that's what I'm saying, make legislation so that would happen. So what you talking about there? What you just talking about there with the two men, the two kidnappers, alleged kidnappers that were killed?
Yeah. You would have seen if it was a case where they could have been apprehended.
So all the persons that were killed by police. And
it's funny that you mentioned that, and I'm coming off now because we would have seen on tape where police, right, took the lives of some men in a gold teeter, and the police were not in any threatening situation at all, right? Because men hands were out the window. They take all people out of the car, they put them back in the car, police walking all around the scene.
That was the Nova?
Yes, in Nova, yes.
Right, yeah.
And to me, before the video came out, it was one narrative you're hearing from the police, and then when the video come out, then they went quiet for a while, and then dusted up something else again to offer to the public. But it is because of all these things why you have to take what the police saying with a pinch of salt, and you cannot give them sweeping powers.
But the law allows for that. The law, when I say allows for that, the law is clear. I mean, even when there's a police shooting, there has to be an investigation.
Of course.
So, I'm just saying, as another layer of the whole thing, another layer of the investigative or the crime fighting instrument is to give all police, especially those who are going out on those kind of beat, they should have a body cam. I am aware of a situation recently where a good friend of mine, his son pulled up in his driveway, an unmarked, well, I had to say it's a police vehicle, but an unmarked vehicle, police vehicle, was passing, reverse, saw the young man pull up in the driveway, came out. He ended up going inside, going behind his fence. They ran in the yard, asked him to come out, calling him out, telling him to come out. They jumped in, they went inside by the man, right? Pull out the youth man from the yard. While his family, his sister and his father, asking, well, what the boy do? What he did? They slammed the sister on the ground. And you know what? At the end of the day, they carried them down in the station. They charged the father and the sister for obstructing the police, and they let go the boy because they had nothing to charge the boy for. Police do these things all the time. Now, this wasn't footage from a body cam. This was footage from the people, cameras in the yard. So clearly, the police need, the law need to also, or the parliament, I should say, need to also put legislation in place that would allow for persons or police officer to answer for crimes that they may have committed against citizens, because daily you are hearing and you're seeing it. You have a lot of footage, a lot of CCTV all around the country owned by persons, by citizens, and you are able to see these things, sometimes very embarrassing, that crimes law enforcement may have committed from time to time. What say you, citizens? We are talking about the stand your ground legislation and also the ease of acquiring firearms in Trinidad and Tobago. Whether or not it is a good thing, whether or not it is something that will assist in as a crime fighting mechanism or as a crime fighting another layer of protection for citizens. My opinion is that it will in some way create some kind of deterrence, and it will in some way help in reducing the amount of violent crime, especially things like home invasion and that kind of thing, because the laws relative to the stand your ground laws is a law specifically designed for citizens to protect themselves while in the confine of their property. It is not a law that allows for a citizen to take a firearm and go outside of their property and challenge someone who they might have a beef with and use it. Of course, in situations like that, I am sure you will be charged. So, I don't know, what say you? What are your positions on this particular proposed legislation, and what are your position on the ease of acquiring firearms? Before, we always had laws in Trinidad and Tobago that allowed for persons to acquire a firearm. But what it was found that even getting the firearm or even going through all the procedures, there were a corrupt element involved where it had to go through a couple layers of law enforcement. And when I say law enforcement, it have to go, I think it's the sergeant have to deal with it, and then he have to do some report, do the investigation, and then send it up to the DCP or the commissioner of police. And somewhere between there, you had persons asking for an exorbitant amount of bribe or monies to be paid to them for it to get to the commissioner. I don't know if it was the commissioners in the past who would have sanctioned that. I can't say. I've heard a lot of stories. But yes, persons who would have applied for firearms before, some of them who got it, said that they had to pay a lot of money to get it. Something to protect yourself. Something, and by the way, when you get the license, you have to pay for your firearm. Eh? It's not like you're just getting a firearm free. You have to have your $7,000 or $8,000 to put out, or $9,000 or $10,000, as the case may be, to get the firearm. And that is the issue. Good evening, caller.
Good evening again, Mr. Matheson. Mr. Matheson, I'm thinking about something here right now, right? Would you think, like, if this is a first-time introduction to people who go into do training and stuff, do you think it would have been better to use rubber bullets for the start?
Rubber bullets for what? Rubber bullets to train with, to practice with, or rubber bullets to give people rubber bullets to the two criminals?
Well, you know, there's different types. You know, some rubber bullets cause physical harm, right?
Yeah, no. Some rubber bullets will throw you down.
Yeah. And then there's pepper spray guns that shoot out just like a bullet, but it's pepper spray rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's something that they should start off with. You know, there are people who you could give real rounds of ammunition. That you know that.
I'm laughing here because you know the bandits will know that too.
but that's the next thing, because as the discussion going on, you know, sometimes you know Trinidad culture is one of bacchanal party. And you know, talk that. You know, neighbors like to talk, and you know, some men can.
You only have rubber bullets.
You know,
so that while that is a good idea, it's sometimes to protect not the criminal but to protect the user, right?
Yeah.
From the consequences of doing the wrong thing at the right time. But yeah, that's a good suggestion. But I don't think, I mean, that's like oversimplifying the argument, because really, you don't know what that person, you don't know when. Listen, I have a business, and I'm saying hypothetically, you running a business, and you want to know that you always have the jump on a person who come in to rob you. So you behind your counter or whatever, right? You don't want a man to pull a gun and you pull a pepper spray, because you're going to die anyway.
True. Yeah, for real.
So my thing is, huh?
No, well, let me hope. Hopefully, they will work out the logistics, and hopefully, because I believe, Mr. Matheson, or let me forget the rubber bullets, but I believe in my heart that, let's say, 1 or 2 incidents will take place when people get the gun to stand it wrong in the house, and I think after that, it won't have no more house break-ins.
Well, yeah, I somehow I feel so too. It's like you remember when I always make this analogy, when we didn't have laws for seatbelt. You remember when we didn't have laws in Trinidad? Well, you probably leave Trinidad already. But when we didn't have laws for seatbelt, right? When it wasn't automatic, that all in the 90s, when it was automatic that you're driving, the car coming with seatbelt, the manufacturer's making it with seatbelt, but you jump in your car and seatbelt was like an aberration. You want to cut out that seatbelt and all. Right? And then they had this campaign where they make it known that seatbelts are important. They show you all kind of advertisement with crash dummies and that kind of thing, and then they make the legislated where you could get charged without driving a seatbelt. And then everybody, now when you jump in a car, the first thing before you even move, it come like automatic. It's just like starting your car, you put on your seatbelt. And it's the same thing.
True.
With all legislation, those that are very active, because people will now be trying to get, more people will be trying to get firearms, and people will be trying to will have a greater sense of security in the homes if you have a firearm and you're feeling secure that somebody mightn't be coming to not somebody mightn't be coming, but if somebody come, you have a next extra layer than a piece of wood or a broomstick or something to ward off a criminal. Now everybody might bust a shot in the air, somebody might bust a shot in your head, right? You're breaking the house, you're coming. You know, I remember a time I was the victim of somebody breaking my house. That person come over my bed, you know. But listen, the person like there was an alcoholic now.
Right.
And I used to have plenty of alcohol in my house, so them come to drink. I smelling the alcohol for miles, you know. So when I wake up and I see the man, I chase the man out my house. But think about a scenario where I know that man was coming in my house and he reached in my bedroom and I light him up.
Yeah, he was coming to do some harm, and coming to do harm to you.
You understand? So the thing is, it really, and that was a traumatizing feeling and moment for me, and will be for anybody. But what I appreciate with what the government is trying to do is at least giving a man who, you hear all kind of stories. I don't know if you heard the caller who called a little while ago and said that, you know, they tie up a family or whoever and beat them up and all that kind of thing. People who experience those kind of things will obviously say if they had a fireman, they had to jump on the person that came, because most of the time you had to jump in there, you seen them coming, you know they're coming, you hearing them breaking in your place. But they know you can't protect yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes they kick down your door. Eh?
I said that's the reality.
Yeah. So how much people going to be kicking down farmers, a man planting a farmer? They know he have money in the house. He now come from the market. How many people going to kick down them kind of door now? Now that they know that man might have a firearm.
And if it have more than one person who have it too in the house.
Yeah. How much are they going to kick down a door?
Yeah. They will think twice. They will never do that again. And,
exactly.
And you know.
We'll set if a couple of them try it. We'll set if a couple of them try it and get it down.
Yeah, but that is the example they had to be set, and then you'll see how some people might even have to draw the firearm.
Exactly.
Because they go stop.
Exactly.
And before I leave, Mr. Matterson, and you see it's the holidays time now, so you know social media running with these school children. So you know there's a lot of friction going on with the social media with school children, and you know when they reach in school they want to let loose. So let me see about the police in the school. Let me see how good that will solve this crime problem.
As I would have said earlier on, I think we have a problem with the human resource management of the crime fighting agencies in Trinidad and Tobago, or national security agencies, because I don't think we have a problem of too little police. We have so many mechanisms, so many layers. We have security officers who could carry firearms. Well, the government going to utilize them in the what you call it, the program that community comfort patrol. We have municipal police. We have customs. All these people carry firearms. All these people have the power to arrest. All these people could do the same thing the normal police could do with a little more training. Why these people going home 4 o'clock in the evening, and after certain hours all the municipal police close and that kind of thing? They could be part of the system. They could be part of free up the police from doing like traffic police in your community. They could be the people who doing the traffic police, collecting taxes, those taxes for the municipal corporation and that kind of thing. That's just my opinion. And I've said that before time and time again.
And that is so correct, because let me tell you something, Mr. Mattis. Now, what you saying is for real, because it will just take, I feel, if they incorporate all that, it will take at least a year and a little bit, and the country will get law abiding.
Exactly. That with other things. I mean, what I always say, and some people might think is kind of draconian, we need to have everybody on a national grid. One ID card or one card that could do everything. Either we have your fingerprint, or we have your DNA, or we have something, so that we know everything about you at any time. It's not information that is for everybody. It's not information that could be accessed by every single government agency, but the information on you might be selectively be able to be accessed by the agency that need it from time to time, right?
True, and that's true.
But if we have a system run on some kind of blockchain system where it is safe and secure, where we know everybody, how much time could you commit crime?
Yeah.
Not much.
How much? Not much, because the simple as you're saying, that simple as the ID card, right? If they take data on everyone, you're simple as your ID card. You could put a barcode on the ID card.
Exactly.
And you could give each police have that.
Brother, we too small. Listen, when you live in, where you live in Boston?
No, I live in Miami.
Right, you in Miami. When the police stop you in Miami, right? They identify you by a plate, In fact, when you're driving down the road in Miami, sometimes you see on the highways, we bill you because they use RFID. I don't know if they still use it there. The last 3 years, that's what I was using, right? But they know everybody. They know when you pass. They know you by your plate, your number plate. So a police will ask you that question. When they come out your car, they know everything about you already.
Yeah, and when they do a traffic violation, they get in mail.
Exactly. So what is this about all this police on the road and productivity and blocking up the road and all kind of stupidness. We too backward for that. We had too much money in this country to be going through that kind of thing at this in 2025.
And before I leave, you know what's the other thing that helped us solve crime over here? You see all the businesses with high traffic, they incorporate facial recognition in
exactly,
these
facial recognition.
Joint with the,
let me take this call. I
police.
seen somebody calling.
All right.
Let me just take this call. Thanks for calling.
All right. No
Good
problem.
evening, caller.
We, President, thank you for giving me the ending something.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to ask you, you are aware that that bill going to pass anyway?
I didn't hear you.
I say, are you aware that that bill going to pass?
If I'm aware that the bill going to pass?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Could you psychologically see that as the social man looking at the consistency going up there, I could understand. Do you really see that according to the situation, as we done hearing it already too, it will be passed?
I don't know. I am assuming that it might be passed.
All right, okay, I will take the assumption. But the fact that I asked the question and
the government has a 3/5 majority plus the Senate is, I mean, the Senate is a group of people thinking they should be objective. They think
right.
I don't know. I think it might be passed.
All right, I will take your assumption because I assuming the same thing. Although you know, assuming we just choose a phrase way, but we will take that from on our chest. So at the end of it, I would say that very actually we would like a society without gun, but the system as it is come from where it is and where it is now. I have to accept the reality, the truth of what's going on. And we just have to safeguard ourselves, all who get in it and know how to use it properly and so forth. Because in fact and in truth, you could have a gun in your hand and a man coming in you and that gun in your hand and you don't get to shoot the first. It takes a certain thought to do that. Yeah, so we have to really, really, really be conscious of what we're doing, and plenty of people who have conscience according to the moment in time. There are people that come and say, but if it was me, if it was you, boy, it does somehow go like to be the position sometimes. So we have to be careful of what we're doing and saying, but if it has to happen in a system that we see in truthfully today, we will have to take whatever comes. Thank you. I will leave that in.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it is so important that we have these discussions, not just on radio here, not just on this station, but throughout Trinidad and Tobago. I know that, you know, let me just take this call. Yeah. Good evening, caller.
Mr. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
To you. I've been listening. And it's time for me to come in the arena. Because I have to ask the question to the listeners and to you also. How we reach to this stage today? We're talking about stand your ground laws in Trinidad and Tobago. Our country is so beautiful. Our country is so small. With so much of riches. Which is that stage that everybody now wants gun. Everybody wants to shoot somebody. Sad. Very sad, eh?
It is.
Very sad.
It is.
Because when our society could reach that stage, not only here, but all over the airwaves, they're speaking about it. All on social media, they're speaking about it. Calling and cussing about it. How Trinidad and Tobago, with 1.4 million people, so rich, we call it the little America. Do we ask the question now, do this now is the little Haiti? Do we ask the question now, do this is a YY West, Texas? We're reaching that stage that we say we put party before country. Because when I listen to the AG of this country, and he tell me that the prison service compromise, I cry. He said compromise, that what they say in Parliament. it means it's tamper with. It's dirty and it's filthy. This is a serious issue that our country, because we living here every day, working, going about the business, and in know our country done for certain already. And it's like no one cares. No one cares. Because in the heart, they want to go back Africa. In the heart, they want to go back India. And they don't understand that this is Trinidad and Tobago. Because the last election, they never went Africa and vote. And they never went India and vote, but they vote in Trinidad and Tobago. They never born in an Africa hospital or India hospital. They just don't like this country. They just don't like Trinidad and Tobago. They only like this country when the party in power. When the party in power, our country going on the road and we're not uniting as one people and said this is Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. I want to engage you. So, what is your position on the legislation or on the idea of, and why do you think it is necessary or not necessary?
I think my position on it, we shouldn't reach to this stage where everyone's speaking about getting a gun to protect their life.
Okay, but we reached there, right? We saying we shouldn't reach, but we know why we reach. We reach there, and some people don't know why they reach, but I think I know why we reach, how we reach there, right? And we dealt with part of it yesterday, but we reached there. The point is, we are there now. What do you feel that not just the legislation, but the ease at which persons get a firearm? Do you think it is a good thing? It's a bad thing?
It is a good thing because, you know what I mean, people will have to protect themselves because how our country reach, so people will have to get the firearm. I agree with
So you agree that the country is in a state and we need maybe another layer of protection, and that layer of protection would suggest that layer of protection be people take personal responsibility by acquiring a firearm to also protect themselves. Is it that, I mean, while that might be bad to even say or to even think, because what you are saying is that the police and the crime fighting mechanism and the national security apparatus can't protect its citizens.
No.
And that's what I'm saying. But, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, when you call the police, most of the time they come and they're there already.
Let me say this as I close. Let me give advice to person who, because I've been listening to the talk they have in the UNC having with the thing. After the young grounds and thing, right? And if people still going to ask that if somebody jump a yard and picking a mango off a tree, they're going to kill him. That should be question to be asking still.
No.
Like,
well, you had to be really dumb.
You
had to be really, and I agree with you. It has some really dumb people out here who will think that they could do that. You will end up in the jail.
So at the time, a ball reaching a yard, somebody jump in a yard and pick and go and look for the said ball. You should the person. No, that's not standing on ground.
Yeah.
Wrong. It is not.
And this is why I would have said this is a very complex piece of legislation. Not just piece of legislation. I really hope that they will think about all those things. But it's a very you have a lot of thought to put in it. You have a lot of guardrails to add to this, to protect, to adequately protect not just yourself, but to protect the person who might be innocent entering your property.
But I expect anyone who have a legal firearm and they have kids and things, right? As I said, of course, you should train your kids how to use the firearm, what it is, for don't hide it away. Because trainers go looking for things. Let them know how dangerous this is. Them know, because it's so much of things that you have enough firearm and just have it in the house. And I mean,
well, you have a lot of people. You have a lot of people in Trinidad and Tobago, by the way, with firearms, you know.
Yeah,
families and things. You know, a lot of people don't know. You have a lot of people with legal firearms.
Yep.
So it's not something new.
No. If I now we bring to the table and we discuss about it, but there are a lot of people, as you say, factually, that they have licensed firearms. And some don't have it at all. Legal firearms.
Exactly.
So
some people have
I hope
ones in the family too.
Yes. Yes. So I hope that when it comes, because it will come to law that I know that right now the government is drafting it, and in the next 2 months that might later the parliament it will bring it. That is one of a dream or a plan or a brainchild.
But they have already set the infrastructure for the ease at which people get it without the law, because remember you already had the laws that was available for persons to acquire firearms. So they have already eased up, set the train for persons to get the firearm if you want to exercise your right to apply for it under the laws of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, I just hope people be careful, because I support the law, because of, if we say that is the only how to is one of the plan of crime fighting, if this is a society supported, if we're living in Rome, you have to live like these Romans, I say okay, but I am saying that we shouldn't reach this stage that we have to have each one of us, 1.4 million people, looking to have a firearm now. I want to thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Thanks very much. We had to leave now. So, ladies and gentlemen, we had a very insightful discussion this evening on this particular proposed legislation, and we will be seeing you tomorrow.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
You want to find something great to do with your Tuesday nights? You want to learn and understand the true reason for Jesus? Then join us every